faith to believe, faith to believe in the land of the free. If the underdog fails, we've swallowed the whale until we repent of our ambitious ways. Fresh face on the scene, face on the scene, so hopeful and keen that things would work out. I've got my doubts, all of our eggs in the basket of fate. Does a wolf howl in the night because he's sad, or just 'cause he can? Does he sing of himself?
Welcome. This is Majesty's Sussex Report, and I'm Antonia. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us. So here we go. Here we are, episode 3 and 4 of With Love, Meghan. You know when you're trying something out for the first time, even if you like that thing, whatever it is, right? But this is the first time you're kind of trying it out, or you're seeing it, or watching it, or first times, right? And even though you may like it, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to kind of really feel the comfort of it and truly kind of just, put your shoulders down and sit comfortably. And I mean, I think it goes with anything. If you're trying out a new activity, if you have a new job, if you're meeting the in-laws, anything, it takes a little while to kind of get the groove and to truly, and what I'm trying to say is I am completely, completely in comfort, in absolute comfort of this show. I liked it from the beginning, but by episode 3, my shoulders are down. I am comfortably seated. I am just in joy of what I'm watching. And what I've discovered, I think, is that in each episode, there is a little of everything for everyone. So the recipes are not difficult to make, doesn't have a whole lot of ingredients. Well, condiments is different, okay? We like condiments in our food. So that's a different story. But it's not uber complicated. The other thing too is that you get a lesson in each episode of something, um, a little touch here or there that as a host, as someone who might be entertaining, or something that you can do for yourself to make yourself feel joy, right? And again, not complicated at all. The other thing I think is the ease in which everything is sort of done and presented. There's no sort of obligation. There's no big recipe at the back. Like you can have your notebook and just say, oh, that is good, that is good, that is good. I think I want to do that, because you're able to watch the entire thing, how it's done, what ingredients they're adding, and then you can make the decision, say, I think I want to do that. It looks simple and easy enough. So I've also thought, this is another thought of mine. Maybe, maybe it's not a thought of mine. Maybe it's like thoughts in the air and I'm just grabbing at some of them. But now that I'm on my second round, right, of watching the shows again for the review, the first time around, I didn't take any notes, didn't do anything. I just watched it. And it was just so joyful to watch, to have that time to just sort of like go into that space and stay in that space. And I also realized, like, after I watched it, I was in a happier mood. I really was. I was in a better mood, a happier mood. I was like, I looked around and I said, okay, well, the cushions on my sofa need some, need poofing up or whatever. So it's like, when did I poofed up the cushions? It's like, okay, that looks pretty now. It's sort of like what the show does, right? It's just delicious, delicious, delicious. And on the second time around, I'm finding myself now going, okay, so I'm looking at it in a bit of a more critical way, and I'm starting to take more notes. So this time around, I'm taking notes, right? The first time, no notes. Second time, taking notes. And I think by the third time, you can look for other things within the show. It's just really great, really, really, really great. So Roy Choi. Roy Choi is a delight. Okay, Roy Choi, he brightens the screen. A Korean American chef who gained prominence as the creator of the gourmet Korean Mexican taco truck Koji. Choi is a chef who is celebrated for food that isn't fancy and is known as one of the founders of the gourmet food truck movement. In 2019, Choi began presenting a cooking series, which I did not know, but I found out, a cooking series on Netflix with John Favreau of Havre, titled The Chef Show. I haven't looked for it yet, but I certainly will. Okay, so let's begin the review. Episode 3 of With Love, Meghan is a masterclass, I believe, in warmth, authenticity, and the power of food to bring people together. Meghan and Chef Roy, their chemistry is effortless. Okay? They sort of create an atmosphere that feels less like a, I don't know, not that you're not even watching sort of like a lifestyle show or a traditional cooking show. It's more like an intimate gathering between friends. What makes this episode truly special is the storytelling. It's not just about the food. It's about identity, nostalgia, and the deep-rooted cultural significance behind every bite. When Roy talks about LA's Korean food culture, he isn't just sharing a recipe. He's sharing a piece of himself. When Meghan recalls her love for pickling and gardening, she's revealing her appreciation for food, and it's more than substance. It's an experience, a connection to history and family. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is just absolutely so engaged, enthusiastic, and genuinely connected to her guests. For those willing to look beyond the sort of nonsense and noise, With Love, Meghan is shaping up to be more than just a series, whether it's lifestyle or food. It's an invitation to learn, to cook, and I think most importantly, to appreciate the joy that food brings into our life. but also to look at the small gestures, small little things that we can do, not only to make our life nicer, more comfortable, more enjoyable, but giving that to someone else. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This episode. This episode isn't it isn't just about the success of it. It's a celebration. I think it's a reminder, right? That food is love. And in the Duchess of Sussex kitchen, I mean the kitchen that she's taping this in, love is always on the menu. Always. Because the things that we do them with love. We do them with care. And this episode is just the blossoming of that, I think. So Meghan does all the prep necessary that she needs to do ahead of time for when Chef arrives. He has sent her a list of things to get ready, but she also wants to do that little thing that as a good host one does. She wants to prepare something for him at his arrival. And the thing that she kind of finalizes or decides to do are donuts. So she doesn't go out and buy the donuts. She makes the donuts. Now, it looked pretty straightforward to make, so perhaps I'll try it. But I would just go out and buy the donuts. But I totally understand that extra step that one takes as an incredible host to actually make the donut. And so she had these homemade baked donuts ready for him on his arrival. Such a simple hosting tip, right? Have something that you know that your guest likes, whether it's their favorite beverage, maybe sweets or candy, a favorite scent, to have it ready for them there. It's just really great. Then from that point on, their conversation flows naturally, filled with laughter and insights into how food shapes who we are. One of the most poignant moments occurs when Meghan and Roy discuss the unfair stigma surrounding MSG. And I remember this also. I remember when there was a whole thing about MSG this and MSG that, and ask for non-MSG. I didn't quite get it. But then there's this thing called adobo, right? That's the Spanish word, I think, for it. Then someone said to me, "Oh, it's just adobo, like what you put in the food, like the seasoning." And I went, "Really? That's what it is? Why is people making a big deal out of that? Like, we put adobo in our food all the time." And he explains why.
And this one, some fish sauce, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead, add it, yeah. Okay. And then we're gonna whisk this together.
Mm-hmm.
And? Oh, that's good. That's so good.
Okay, good.
You could just eat
sauce.
You could just eat sauce. You know, like, why not go to a place and just eat sauce?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so there's that.
You don't see that one at first.
Yeah, right?
At first you're like, oh, it's nice, and you
right?
The depth of flavor.
Like you are with crudité platters, I am with sauce.
I can see
Beautiful.
why.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Okay, now we're gonna do our dry salt for seasoning the chicken later. That's
Okay.
MSG in there.
A little bit of MSG?
Yeah,
I don't know enough about it. I just remember there came a time
Yeah.
in the 90s or early 2000s where it was just when you're ordering food, no MSG. And I don't
Yeah.
quite know why that happened.
Yeah. Do you want to know the real reason? Without
they can
sanitizer, it was racist. It was racist against Asians. You know, it was a thing about Chinese restaurants. It's not any different than, again, bouillon powder.
Wow.
Like it exists in all of the fast food that America was raised on. What we have now is we have this more democratic food culture where information can be accessed. And you don't see any young people saying MSG gets you sick anymore, right?
It's very true.
And so that all that stuff
Glad
was
we've
fallacy.
evolved in that way.
Yes. This is anchovies chili powder. Cayenne. More chili powder.
Okay, so I just want to talk about this briefly because I don't mean to bring in any, dissatisfying or ugliness to the review. But I thought this was a really good moment to bring this in as an example, and one that hopefully, for those people who still will sacrifice their integrity, life, or anything that will defend their racism and misogyny and all of that towards Meghan Sussex, I will say to them, example number one, evidence number one, whatever you would like to call it, but it couldn't be any clearer than this. This is the headline on GB News, which many, I guess, conservatives or far right people or just people, I guess, watch in the UK. They also have YouTube channels that blast all of this nonsense out. And the headline reads, Meghan Markle's co-star corrects Duchess of Sussex over racist remark. Now, tell me if that is what actually happened. And I do not care if this is it's just for clickbait, it's just to get the person interested. It is false information. It is the information that many people will see because it's what shows up on your screen. You may not click on the article to read it. You may not click on the video to watch it, but your brain has already registered this. It has registered it. It has saved it. So for people who say also, I don't care about Meghan. I'm not concerned about any of that. Or someone who would say, oh, I watched the show with an open mind and oh my God, I couldn't get through episode 1. So you watch the show with an open mind. I don't have any opinion on Meghan. A barrage of people saying these things. It's like people who say, well, I don't see color. Really? Evidence number one. Everyone goes in with already a predetermined, unconscious bias, if you want to put it that way, idea. Because I don't care who you are, you can't avoid what is being said about the Duchess of Sussex. And this is just despicable. And this is what she's had to deal with for now 8 years. Now let's go back to the review. This candid discussion showcases the educational depth of the episode, giving viewers more than just recipes or how to make or how to cook as a particular dish or making sauce. It proves it it provides historical context and corrects misinformation. And we continue to learn. When Meghan marvels at Roy's technique in using milk in a brine, trust me, I was like, what? and then you're adding beer. It really highlights her curiosity and willingness to explore different culinary traditions. She said, I've never heard of putting milk in a brine before. Roy exclaims that it's an old Korean style technique where beer and milk are combined to create a perfect marinade.
We'll parboil the chicken.
That recipe comes from old Korean style pub fried chicken. And what they did was they would take all the beer from the night before or the end of the night.
Yep.
They would pour in a huge container and then they would pour milk into it. And then the milk actually breaks down the enzyme.
Is it the lactic acid?
Yes, the lactic acid.
But first, I know you have all sorts of other goodies that you want to help make.
Yeah. I think we're going to start with the pickles.
What else do we need? Okay, bonito.
Yeah, we could grab whatever. See, the great thing about pickles is that they can be designed to whatever you want.
Coriander.
Welcome to UKB.S News, the news that keeps you on edge all the time. I am Brian Ironbridge Doyle. Breaking news from the Meghan Sussex Netflix fiasco. With love, Meghan. Meghan insults guests by claiming the pepper was hot. I repeat, the pepper was hot. Roy Choi testifies that the pepper was not hot. The International Agency Against Discrimination of Hot Peppers has been contacted. A full inquiry will be completed. We will repeat this story every 10 minutes for the next 24 hours in addition to discussing it on every program this network has and all of our social media platform. Thank you, Greg.
And as I said before, the show is more than cooking. It's about memories and cultural bridges. When Meghan shares her childhood experiences of growing up in Los Angeles and the influence of Korean culture on her life, even on her mother's life, it's not just words. You can see her reliving those moments. The connection between host and guest isn't scripted. It's organic, authentic, and deeply engaging. When Roy talks about going to dances at the same school that Meghan went to, and about the music, the dances, they talk about having all these things in common, and Roy laughs and he goes, we should have known each other sooner, earlier. We have so much in common. And now, the pièce de résistance, if they do this, I will find a way to get to purchase fried chicken, okay, at a restaurant co-founded by Chef Roy and Meghan. I will buy that fried chicken. I am going there. I'll find a way somehow. Or maybe they can have a delivery service that is international or something. But it was just so beautiful, that conversation. And one of the things that really connected me to what they were saying, and connected, I think, in many ways, growing up with parents, or a parent that understands struggle, that understands jobs that are difficult or hard, and we shouldn't make it even harder for the person who has to do the job. And I'm talking about when you're at a hotel. I still do it to this day, and with friends that I've hung out with, or we sit at hotels together, they look at me and go, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm tidying up the place." They're like, "Well, housekeeping is going to do that." I'm like, do you really think I'm going to let housekeeping come into this room looking like this? I think not. Right? But that is something I learned from my mom. My mom always, before housekeeping came in, she would like make the bed, put everything where it needs to be. And my dad never understood that. He was like, "Woman, what are you doing? Like, we're paying for the room. They will clean it. It's okay." My mom would give him a look like, we are not going to be that family where housekeeping comes in and they're in horror of how the room looks. So I still do that to this day. I still do it to this day, and I take pride in doing it. I really do, because even if they have to still undo everything, I still want that person, whoever's coming in to tidy up the room or to clean it, to know that I I cared. I cared not to leave it in a complete mess. So they had extra work to do. And that truly connected me even more so to this episode. It was just fantastic. And the pepper. Oh, oh, my Lanta. I loved it. I loved it because she swore, she's like, no, the pepper is so hot. Had it yesterday. No, it was so hot. And then she picks one and she gives it to Roy. And he bites into it. And he's like, it's not hot at all. So he's faking it, like faking it is hot. He's like, yeah, it's so hot, Megan. Yeah, yeah. And she's like, hey, that's not fair. It is hot. Come on. Then she picks a pepper. She bites into it. She goes, well, the one I had yesterday was hot. And I just thought that was so beautiful. It was so identifiable of, I don't know, hanging out with a friend, hanging out with someone that you can have that kind of banter with. It was just beautiful. Absolutely loved it all. Food is love. Roy says near the end of the episode, and Megan nods with a smile. And that, I believe, is the essence of what this series is proven to be. Not just a lifestyle or cooking show, but a love letter to food, culture, friendship, and the universal language of sharing a meal. Absolutely beautiful.
Heading up the west coast in the morning to find a place where no one knows our faces or our names. If we don't leave now, we might never make it out alive. Plans are changing, rearranging all the time.
Delfina Blaquier is an Argentine socialite, photographer, fashion businesswoman, and former high jumper. A youth athlete in the 1990s, Blaquier competed internationally in the women's high jump. She was a gold medalist at the South American Youth Championships in athletics in 1996. Daughter of Argentine racing driver Eduardo Blaquier and mother Delfina Freire, a member of one of the wealthiest families in Argentina, Her father's family owns Estancia La Concepcion, a large estate in Argentina. Her paternal grandfather, Juan José Silvestre Blaquier, was a polo player. Her maternal grandfather is the yacht designer German Freys. She grew up in Buenos Aires and at her family's estate. She married the polo player Nacho Figueras in 2004. They live now in the United States with their 4 children. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, welcomes viewers into a heartwarming episode of With Love, Meghan, where she shares a beautifully intimate day with her dear friend Delfina. Their friendship, formed through their husband's shared love for polo, has flourished into a bond built on mutual admiration, laughter, and a shared appreciation for nature, culture, and simple joys. From the moment Delfina arrives, it's clear this visit is more than just a casual get together. It is a reflection of Meghan's deep care and thoughtfulness. Days before Delfina's arrival, Meghan prepares homemade gifts, including dog biscuits for Delfina's beloved pup, Nina, and handcrafted raspberry preserves. She also bottles sun tea, something I can't wait to try. Which is it's a rustic nod to old-fashioned traditions, reinforcing the idea that the simplest things, when done with love, hold the most meaning. This is not just hospitality. It is a demonstration of love and friendship in action. I want to be Megan's friend. It is just absolutely divine. As they embark on their day together, the two women effortlessly fall into a rhythm of um, cooking, reminiscing, and sharing pieces of their lives. Megan, ever the gracious host, takes the opportunity to teach Delfina how to make focaccia, a skill she herself only recently learned. The act of um, what is the word I'm looking for here? I think it's kneeling the bread, the dough. Um, I think that's what it's called, and letting letting it rise and transforming it into something nourishing becomes a metaphor for their friendship. I think organic, evolving, and infused with warmth. Beyond the kitchen, the pair ventures into nature, taking a hike that allows them to reconnect with the outdoors and their memories. Megan shares reflections from her time in Argentina, drawing parallels between the landscapes and her beloved California. This connection to, to place and experience highlights how both women, despite their different backgrounds, find commonality in their appreciation for life's simple pleasures. No detail is left untouched. Megan even prepares lavender infused towels, which, by the way, I've done. I love them. So you kind of reverse depending on the season. So when it's summer, it's cold towel. When it's winter, it's a rather warm towel. Mind you, having said that, warm towels work all the time too. But it's such a beautiful touch to do. A small, yet I would say luxurious, right? Gesture to refresh um, oneself and your guests after an outdoor adventure. Such moments define this episode, where care and thoughtfulness are woven into every interaction, making this more than just a lifestyle show. It's an ode to meaningful relationships. Now, the culmination of their day is a shared meal, a perfect fusion of their worlds. Megan and Delfina indulge in homemade pasta, a beautifully curated charcuterie board, and of course, mate. And by the way, what Megan said about how the mate tastes like rope, that's correct. 100% correct. The traditional South American tea that Megan has come to appreciate as they sip, exchange memories, and soak in the joy of good food and even better company, the moment feels as authentic as it is cinematic. Beautiful. Episode 4 of With Love, Megan shines not just because of its aesthetic appeal, but because of its authenticity. It isn't a show about perfection, it's about presence, being in the now. It's about connection and the little things that make it rich. I've read critique and commentary that have said, we thought the show wasn't about perfection. Why is it so glossy and so perfectly lit and so perfectly shot? And I think they missed the point. Or maybe they're missing the point intentionally. Megan's meticulous yet effortless approach to hosting showcases her innate ability and generosity, whether through the small gifts she prepares or the thoughtful ways she personalizes Delfina's experience. This episode is a testament to the deep the deep connection of their friendship, proving that relationships will strive on intentionality and shared moments. The cinematography enhances this sort of warm, intimate atmosphere. Soft, natural lights bathe the scenes. The sounds of laughter here or there. The the beautiful music. The clicking of glasses. The added texture and the sort of slow, deliberate shots of homemade food. It just it just evokes this feeling of comfort. One of my friends messaged me today, one of my dear friends, one of my best friends, and said, "Are you watching?" And I thought, "What do you mean if I'm watching? Of course I'm watching." But she asked, "So what do you think?" And for me, it was more important what she thought, because I know what I think already. And she said, "I just want to do things." She goes, "I want to go and buy flowers and like put in my place." And that's the point. That's the point of the show. And I was so happy and delighted that my my friend got it. Because watching the show, I feel exactly the same way. I used to do this quite often. I used to go every Saturday and buy flowers, and you put it in your living room or wherever you want to put them, and it just brightens up the atmosphere. It also that ritual of walking towards the flower shop. It's just divine. It's just human. It's just giving yourself time to reflect and to be kind to yourself. And that's the intention of the show, right? And I would love if more people got it. On Unlike highly stylized lifestyle shows that can feel distant, right? With Love, Megan feels inviting, as it as if viewers are watching two friends in their own kitchen rather than an orchestrated production. What also makes this episode stand out is the cultural exchange woven seamlessly throughout. Megan's reverence for Argentina, from embracing mate to recalling her time there, demonstrates an openness to learning and appreciating the different traditions. It's a gentle but powerful reminder of the beauty in cultural connection. Ultimately, this episode succeeds in offering a warmth, unfiltered glimpse into Megan's life, one that emphasizes kindness, gratitude, and the power of true friendship. For those who have followed her journey, this show isn't just a lifestyle series. I keep saying that over and over. It's a deeply personal expression of love, of memory, of human connection. With Love, Megan is a refreshing break from the noise of everyday life. It reminds us that friendship is nurtured in the small gestures, in laughter shared over homemade bread, and in the willingness to learn from each other. Megan Sussex, as both a host and a friend, embodies the essence of thoughtfulness, making this episode not just enjoyable to watch, but deeply resonant. Oof. I'm going to try and say this without. When Delfina says to Megan, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't. Therefore, you shall read it."
Simple pleasures.
Yeah.
And also, and I know you brought it, but we must have some mate.
Ah, yes.
So I will leave the honors to you because this was one of my favorite things from when I lived in Argentina. Good old mate.
We'll see how it goes. You give it back to me. Now I'm gonna share it to you. Is it good?
Did you hear it?
Uh-huh.
Brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah?
It's very good.
The temperature is good?
It's perfect.
Okay. I enjoyed this morning's hike because I saw you being you, and I love that. I love when you are doing your thing, and yeah, I'm obsessed with that face of me of M.
I know.
So happy.
And there you have it. Thank you, Delfina. What more can you ask of a friend? What more? It was beautiful to watch them hike and dance and be silly. And as they said, ever so often we invite our husbands also. But two good friends, two gals connecting and just having time for themselves, developing that friendship that we all should have in our lives. I wish this on each and every one of you. This glorious wonderfulness of friendship, closeness, connection. And with this, I bid you adieu. I hope you enjoyed today's review on these two episodes. The next ones are coming up. I am surely enjoying them. Thank you once again. If you're not a subscriber yet, please do subscribe, like, and share so that we can build up this community even more. I thank you for being here from the bottom of my heart. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your loved ones, and also to the stranger you meet along the way on your path. Until we speak again, I love you all. Mwah.